Hi everyone, it's Pip here from queenpipcards.com. Welcome to my quick technique tutorial today. I am sharing with you how to use the Art in Bloom bundle with the dies that go with it, the bloom dies, and the embossing folder that comes part of the bundle. So it's quite it's quite a chunky bundle. You get an embossing folder, a die set, and a stamp set. And I know some people are thinking, well, why do I need all three? And that's because this is a hybrid embossing folder, so it does something different to just an ordinary embossing folder. So let's get started. First of all, I have my trusty piece of basic white cardstock, onto which I'm just going to stamp in Daffodil Delight my large 3 flowers. Okay, so we'll just do that first of all. Make sure that's somewhere in there. This has got a little crease on it, so I'm going to just miss that out. Doesn't matter, we're going to cut these out. Okay, so there's the flowers. Nicely stamped, easy, seems quite normal and straightforward at this point. That's going to need a base and it's going to need some backing. So I'm going to use some of the peach papers. This is from Europeach as backing to this. I like this green side, so we're going to use this. This is a normal base layer. And I'll pop the measurements up underneath or on screen. I try and do them in both metric and imperial for you. Just remember that when I'm doing it in imperial, it is for a different size card base. It's for North American letter size card, so it'll look slightly different to mine when you do it in American, because I use A4 because I'm in Europe. Okay, so we have this piece, which is going to be our backdrop. I've brought some of this out. This is the old Olive and Pretty Peacock, and I know you're going to say, Pretty Peacock's left, Pip, it retired last year. It did, but this ribbon stayed, and I'm quite glad it did because I love it. It's shimmery, it's pretty, and it works beautifully with this, even though it's not necessarily got exactly the right colours. So I'll pop that on there, like so. So just wrap that around and adhere it at the back. Really quick, this card, it's really quick and easy once you get into the swing of things. Okay, like so. Then glue that down to your card base. That stops it just sticking to everything, to be honest, and means that it's out of the way and done and dusted while we get onto the meaty bit. Now I'm also creating another card at the same time, so we're going to do 2 cards on the fly, as it were, so you can see what both of them end up looking like when I've finished. And the reason why we're doing that is because the first piece I'm going to just run straight through the embossing folder, just so that you can see the beautiful embossing. And this is a piece of Pool Party cardstock that I've got here. Now with this, it's although it's called a hybrid, you use the same plates as you would do for a 3D, and that is your very base platform, number 1. Then you put the embossing folder in with the folded edge towards the mechanism, and then you finish it off with plate number 4. Okay, this is your speciality plate, so that goes straight in there. Whiz this through. Sorry about the jogging. There we go. And then I'm going to just bring this out, move this over a second, and just show you what this looks like, because it is the most gorgeous embossing I think I've ever seen on an embossing folder. Just look at the depth there that you get with that. Isn't that just stunning? Which is why I just wanted to make a card out of that, because that, to me, that is just beautiful, and there's no reason why we can't use that straight as it is as a card base. So I'm popping a little bit of ribbon along the bottom of it here. Again, using my trusty seal to glue down my ribbon. Okay. Because it really helps to stick it to something that's this deeply embossed. Alright, bring that over. So this is, again, just a standard card base size. Not card base layer size. And I just like the tone on tone, so we're going straight in for this one on a piece of basic white thick cardstock, just to give it that nice crisp edge. But you can see, I mean, you can use it either way. This is called the deboss side. You can use it this way too if you wish. Just make sure you've got glue on the bits that are near the surface, as it were, near the sticking surface. I'm going to pop that straight down on here, because really you don't really need much more than that with this deep embossing, but we will put something else on that in a minute, so we'll just bear with me for a moment while we finish the other piece off, and then we'll come back to that bit. Okay, so now what I want to show you is the hybrid version, the hybrid part of this, and for that we need the dies. Okay, and the dies are these. Now you could, if you wanted to, you can just cut the flowers straight out and have them like you would do any other die cut, pop them up on dimensionals, and you can have them just like that. That's perfectly fine. But if you want to have a little bit of extra zhuzh, as I call it, open it to the black pieces facing you, and you can slot the dies into your hybrid, and you can feel when they fit underneath. Okay, and then you can position your flowers underneath that. You can just see through nicely as they line up, so they're lining up with that pretty well. Okay, then you hold that firmly in place, pop it exactly the same, what's the word? Sandwich, that's the word I'm looking for. Exactly the same sandwich. Get your cut and emboss back out again. Okay. And then run that through there. Just be careful not to open it in between, you know, once you've actually got it lined up. Pop that through there. And then, when you undo this, you now have both stamped and embossed and cut flowers, which you can then use on your card. I mean, isn't that just like mind blown? Right? It's just incredible. So for this one, you can then attach them how you want. So you could have this one here, and this one coming up under here, for example. So you don't have to then lay them out the way that they are when you stamp them. You can change them to however you want them to be. And in fact, I think I quite like that. Like that. Yeah, I quite like that, like that. So we can just, or even this one could come up under here like so. Oh, that's nice. That's even better. So now we'll just glue these into position. Again, you'll need to make sure that you have glue on the bits that are touching. Okay. Because it is a deep embossing, so it won't all touch. And then just position them in place. Hold them a bit, you know, don't squash them, because you don't want to squash your embossing. Just hold them in place there like that. Again. Okay. That one's going to go under there in place like that. Hold it, hold it. There we go. And this one will raise up with dimensionals on top. So this one we'll put with dimensionals on. Or put on with dimensionals even. So, so for this I find that if you, like they fit pretty much in the petals. And since we don't want this squashing at all when it goes through our mailbox or mail centre, we're going to do a few make sure those petals stay nice and upward facing, like, you know, embossed and not squished. So that's going to go there. There we go. I'll put that one just about there-ish, I think. Over there, like so. There. So there we have two very different looks. Now to finish this one off, definitely I recommend you get your Wink of Stella out, because a little bit of Wink of Stella goes a long way, and you can just add to the centre of your flowers that little sparkle, and it just deepens the centre of the flower there as well. See that? So it just makes it slightly darker, and actually it's got a sparkle to it. If you want to, you could do the whole flower. That would take some time, so I'm not going to do that. Or you can just flick in the bits that have been embossed here, which just adds some nice definition, and again that sparkle. So it's up to you what you want to do, but I quite like adding a little bit of extra depth to it, just to, I mean, honestly, it jumps up and grabs you, this embossing. It just says, look at me, look how embossed I am. It's just fabulous. I do hope they brought out another one in the July to December mini catalogue for Christmas. So that's, you know, there's a nice Merry Moments, I think it is, or Christmas Moments or something. So that's lovely. But this one's great for all year round. And it's not just a one-hit wonder, you know. It's not just do one flower and that's all it's done. Because as I say, when you've got the stamps to work with as well, you've got a lot of options. So many options. It's great. And I love a stamp set and bundle that gives you multiple ways to work with it, because it just increases its value to you. You know, it's much better value for money. So to finish that off, I have a little bit of cardstock here, and I have two of the sentiments from the stamp set. I'm going to use Pool Party, obviously, for one of them, but you could also do heat embossing, which is lovely. You know, that would work nicely. So I've got Dear Friend, and then I've got a really long one. Thanks for making me happy. Which actually, I just want the thanks, so I'm just going to stamp the thanks. But I have inked it all up so you can see it is stamped, thanks for making me happy. Then I'm going to swap that colour out, and we will do an Old Olive, I think. Do an Old Olive colour for the other one. And I'm doing exactly the same. Actually, I might just do Dear Friend for this one. So I'll put that up there, like so. Or maybe just a thanks. Oh, so many thoughts, so many decisions. Put the thanks over there, like so. Okay. And now, you can obviously die cut those if you wish. Or you can do just a little bit of cutting out by hand. It doesn't take a lot to do that. And I like to, especially these ones, they're lovely and straight. So you can generally follow them pretty well. Tag the ends, it doesn't matter if they're straight or not. Always my tip. And then if we take the thanks and do the same, and then cut down there and down there. Oops. This is what I call a cheating way of doing a sentiment, because you don't really have to worry about it being straight too badly. I would put the thanks dear friend one on top of there, like so. Use some dimensionals, helps to hold the ribbon down. And then this one, I might just do thanks. Quite like that. In line with the writing, so it's, you know, going in the same direction. because this one doesn't really need much more. You can either pop it up there or pop it down there, or tuck it in behind a flower, you know, whichever you fancy. I think I'm just going to pop that down there. Add some sparkles and we'll be done. How quick was that? So really simple actually, even though they look really complicated. And I like that when you can, that's what I call, you know, cheating stamping really. It makes it look like you spent forever on it. And obviously you want to spend forever on a card for your friends, but sometimes if you're making a en masse or doing a lot of thank yous for somebody, then you don't have time to do them all, you know, take hours over doing each one. So something like this is just a nice way of looking at, you know, putting the effort in whilst at the same time not taking masses and masses of time doing it. Because you have thought about them and you are, you know, it is a special card because it's beautiful. It just hasn't taken you 3.5 hours to do one card. So any card that can do that, I figure, is good. There we go. So that fits there. And then this one, pop these on. I love these little mini dimensionals for this. So easy to use. They seem to just fit perfectly with the words, almost like it had been designed that way, which of course it has. So, you know, we like that. We like things that look like they've been designed that way because they have been. There, that fits beautifully on there. So there's two very different cards, and yet both using the same, exactly the same embossing folder and the dies to match and the stamps to match on these. Aren't they lovely? So that is the In Bloom, and look at all the other dies you get. I mean, I love this one. It looks like a ticket. That's just great. Some flowers, some leaves, another long sentiment piece. That's the In Bloom dies. Comes with this hybrid embossing folder and this gorgeous stamp set, Art in Bloom. So it's called Art in Bloom. It's from the main catalogue. It's 155085. From the annual catalogue 2021, and yeah, I think anybody would be really chuffed to receive one of those cards. And it's just another thing that you can put in your arsenal. You know, it's another set of types of dies, embossing, different kind of thing that you can do to just bring a little bit of difference to your card making. So, thanks ever so much for watching. This is Pip Todman here, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the UK, from www.queenpipcards.com. You can find everything if you wish to purchase these if you just do /store after my website, so queenpipcards.com/store, or come and join me on the blog just at queenpipcards.com and subscribe to my newsletter down below. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. And if you want to see more from me and hear when I go, you know, back online or whatever, just subscribe and then you'll get notified when I've done another video. So thanks ever so much for watching. It's Pip here. Have a great week and stay crafty. Cheers. Bye.